see everyone. How's everyone doing?
Great, great.
Congratulations on the film. Really cool because, a really successful film festival run, Sundance, Overlook, Berlin, and people can be able to see this in theaters May 22nd, which is really cool. Natalie, I did want to kind of start with you because when I'm watching this, body horror and then the supernatural component really kind of sticks with me as well. When you were writing this, which was there one out of both of those things that you were thinking about most, or like were you thinking about those kind of equally?
Yeah, I mean, I think body horror is almost inherent in the subject matter because it is so much about like a transformation surrounding a body and the kind of anxieties attached to that. So I think that was always going to be, a very uh hand in hand kind of thing. But at the same time, the supernatural element did come early. I was thinking about the experience of being like in the grips of something like a eating disorder and how often things can feel out of your control and that there's some presence or dark sinister presence like lying in wait to take over. So that Bertha element was kind of felt like the perfect vehicle to talk about that feeling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well said. And Medora, good to see you again, by the way. It's been a
Great.
bit. And I did kind of want to ask you, I think like it's really interesting because, we see Hannah in a lot of settings in this film. And I know, there's like a lot of the scares and a lot of the what is going on happens at the house, but there's of course the university and then the fitness center and everything. Did it sometimes feel like making like multiple mini films, I feel like? Because there's a lot of different areas like where we see Hannah, and I find that interesting with this film.
It did. That's a really good way of putting that. I mean, it it always felt like the same movie because it was, Nat was there every day and she was guiding it. But it did. It felt like chapters. Like the gym was its own thing and it was really bright and we had just started. And then the house was its chapter. I mean, the house was like we filmed some stuff there, and it was tight corridors, but I loved the house. But that was its own like dark, like even just the lighting and the vibe of the house was so dark, and then so that was completely different. And then me and Danielle shooting in the university, we were suddenly in the real world, and there were other people there, which was shocking for me. I mean, those were the first people I'd seen really because I just saw our crew every day. So yeah, I totally know what you mean, and it did feel that way. Like each location had its own world, had its own memory, had its own vibe. And that's written into the script, right? Because Hannah's house is like sort of like mythic and it's
Hmm. Absolutely. I feel like Hannah's house is like a character in this movie
yeah.
in a lot of ways, which I find is really, really interesting. Madeline, I did want to kind of ask you, Natalie said it very well in the beginning. There's a lot of kind of elements at play, body horror and everything. But like, I love that script to screen journey, right? Where you get a script and you see all these elements in a script, and then eventually you get there and you see everything come to life. I'm just wondering what that script to screen journey like was like for you with Saccharine, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think something that Nat is so fantastic at doing is exploring very human, real experiences, but through like the horror genre, which really can just like heighten that, you know, that sort of terror, whether it's about grief, whether it's about body dysmorphia, eating disorders. Nat has consistently executed that. Over her career. And so I was really excited to read the script for this. And, I was just taken back by how, you know, visually evocative it was and textural, which is a word that we've been all really using a lot. And just it felt like a very intimate pulling back the curtain into somebody who is struggling with self-image and eating disorders. And, I think there's a lot of moments in there that I could relate back to my own experience and felt really seen in reading this script. And yeah, I just, I hadn't read anything like it before, and it just felt like a really exciting, thought-provoking project to be a part of.
I have
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
question. With the anatomical Venus, how you saw it in the script versus how we shot it, how different was it to what you expected?
Um, I think, what was It's funny because when I think about the anatomical Venus, I think about the sort of makeup process that we did, which was like hours and hours of airbrushing, but then all of the fine little hairs on your body just sort of stand out like peach fuzz. So like I sort of am now thinking about that, but I loved that image of her being portrayed as this object of almost like a scientific object, but also like a desired object. And I was really excited to be, to do that scene. That was really, really fun.
You were so still. I was like, I would forget you were there. Honestly, I was like, how are you that still? It must have been very hard. It was incredible.
Thank you. I mean, it's funny. There are moments where like, you're trying to be as still as possible, but then like you're so still that you can, I can't remember. I think somebody said that they were looking on the monitor and they're like, oh, I can like see your heartbeat beneath
Oh,
like prosthetics, like
in
it's
your neck.
no, yeah, or like a vein or something. You're like, no matter how still you try to be,
I can't stop my heart from beating.
I
Speaking
can't
of,
stop that, guys. I'm sorry.
No, the film was shot really well too. Like shout out to the cinematographer on this film too. I'm a filmmaker as well, so it was really really cool. Danielle, before we wrap as well, I just want to ask you a question as well in regards to like one thing I really loved about your character was very interesting, and it's just credit to you. You did such an amazing job. Is a friend to Hana and everything, and then trying her best to be the like as good of a friend as possible, but then throughout the film, like finding out what is going on, right, and what's happening, and it's very hard for your character not to be like, I'm out, like I can't deal with this. You know what I mean? So what was that like? Is it more fun? Is it more challenging from an acting perspective? That like ping pong match with like the best friend, so to speak.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I think, Josie's the kind of friend that's like, okay, where are we burying the body? Obviously. I mean, clearly, like with what she does in this movie to help her friend, she's the ride or die. But she also cares about her friend and she wants her to be okay. And I think trying to find that balance is always difficult when you are the fun friend, the upbeat friend, the one that's trying to get your friend to try new things. And I think it's difficult to find the balance of how to have a very real conversation with someone that's not ready to have that yet. And Midori and I were lucky enough that we had kind of the real heart to heart conversations towards the end of the film. So we were really comfortable with each other. We knew each other. And we kind of just got to play until we had to like really get into it. And that was actually really nice. It felt really supportive doing kind of the emotional scenes with Midori after that, because I felt like really weirdly taken care of. That sounds weird because my character's more trying to do that, but weirdly Midori made me feel really taken care of so that we could kind of get to that emotional place.
No, absolutely. That's so well said. And I have to say, all three of you are incredible in this film. Congratulations. Seriously, like so good. And I can't wait for people to see this in theaters May 22nd via IFC Films. Good to see you all. Thank you so much and congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.